Over the past few days, Forsaken has been going pretty much on a downward spiral between devs leaving, the mismanagement of the game, and the general handling of this whole situation. As someone who's been following this game since its release date, it's really sad to see it come to this, and I believe the only way to fix it is by getting someone else to push it in the right direction. If you haven't been following the whole Kaiser situation, Kaiser, after all these months, has been still in contact with Soul. And when confronted about it, Basil, one of the co-owners of the game, stated that she doesn't really care that Kaiser had contact with Soul this whole time, and said that who he's friends with is none of her business, which is stupid because it 100% is your business. This person is taking 25% of all your game's profits, and the fact that one of your developers is still in constant contact with Soul is utterly absurd. Soul has caused this game so much stress and has ruined the reputation of it permanently that the fact that you think that this is none of your business is kind of crazy. And it is another reason as to why I believe this game needs a new sense of direction, not just overall, but we need new director or directors, because this horrible mismanagement of the game has not only costed them probably players, but also their dev team as a whole. I have seen, I believe, 8 people leave the dev team or go on break from working on the game just because its management is abysmal. We have lost the lead animation developer, Kaiser, who did most of the balancing before Masquerade update, and I've seen several modelers, the artists, renderers. One of the main coders of the game wants to leave it, and another developer being exposed for saying slurs on calls and in private messages. All in all, it's safe to say this game is royally fucked. And to have all these team members be leaving, it really does show your signs of mismanagement and how you failed as a director. It really doesn't help their case when a screenshot was posted from the in-dev server where Hitoko was taking accountability, or at least doing the best he can to take it, and accepted that this is his fault and how he didn't really want anyone to be in contact with Soul but never acted on it, while Basil, on the other hand, pretty much deflected any accountability towards this whole situation. When asked to make a response, she just said, "I don't have social media," which is some insane deflection. But she just didn't take accountability for anything that has been happening, even though it started with her and her response. And I really do think and stand by that fact of Basil should get fired, taken off the team entirely, and Hitoko should just be demoted. He should not be an owner of Forsaken, but I don't think he should get fired. He is just in no place to be a owner and a leader of the game. And that going forward, there should be a rule instated that if anyone has contact to Soul, they should be removed from the dev team, unless explicit permission granted from whoever's director to get in contact with Soul. No one should have him friended or be in contact with them. The game should distance themselves from Soul as much as possible. He is a weirdo and a plague on the game. But that begs the question of who should be in charge of the game going forward. And I think that's a pretty easy question to answer, as there is one person who I believe can save this game and has said that he's willing to take the ownership role if they ask him. That person being Balls, aka Balls Necrosis, otherwise known as the original owner of Forsaken, aka Damnation. Watching his video about his whole take on the whole situation is, well, the reason I'm making this video is I just also want to commentate on it, put in my 2 cents. But I do genuinely think he is the best fit to be an owner of the game, and there's no reason why he shouldn't be. He has said time and time again his problems with the game, the way it's handled development-wise and gameplay-wise, and I think he just is the best fit for being the director. He understands the issues Forsaken faces in its current day and knows how to address them. The one I'll mention here is the skin issue of the game feeling like Fortnite because of how many character skins and reference skins there are. And he stated that he will purge a lot of reference skins if becoming owner because the game needs a push in the right direction for identity. because the game recently has been lacking in identity. I'll leave his video in the description as I think it is a great watch and it really talks about a lot of the problems, not only Forsaken's development phases, but also its community and how they handle situations like these. It's a really good video. I highly recommend it. And I do agree with his takes, especially about the skins. There needs to be some sort of clean out of skins and entire shop repricing, because it's really easy to make money in Forsaken, and you find yourself having a lot to not spend. And so I think it just makes sense to bump up prices for a lot of things and reorganize prices. I also personally believe the skin recognizability rule should be reinstated. For pre-existing skins that already don't follow it, I mean, there's really only one way to go with it, and that's by altering the old ones or leaving them as is. There is no in between. For killers, it's not as important. Um, like Slasher's got the book. Cool Kid is one solid color. 1X is the lighting. They all have something that's very iconic that you really can't go wrong with. That makes their designs them. But especially for survivors, there needs to be some sort of way to tell who's who, because I have found myself finding a lot of different characters to just be other characters and then they're surprise me when it's not. This goes for a lot for guest. Guest suffers from this problem a lot. I know a lot of people will disagree with that take, but I think it really would help with pushing the game in a direction that is more focused on its own identity rather than other IP. And I'm not saying that reference skins should be outright banned. Absolutely not. And this really is effective for newer players. Newer players should be able to tell who's who. Like, Elliot should always have chef attributes. Guest should really have that blue hair. He sticks out a mile with it. Or if you want, you could just give normal base Guest a shield and have all his alts get them too. So people know that, oh, that's him. It's like subtle changes that make everyone's life easier with the skin recognizability rule, but also allows for unique stuff, if that makes sense. Because stuff like the Minecraft skins, White Pumpkin and Adminoli, they should just get redesigned to better fit the original characters while also seeing slight references. Because a new player is going to see Romeo Noli and be like, what the hell is this? And then see normal Noli, they're going to think it's two different characters. They're not going to know, oh, hey, that's Noli. They just don't look similar. Another issue with the game currently is its music identity. It had one at the start to be eerie and ominous, but now it's evolved into something where it's just like, oh, this is a certified banger. Like, it just doesn't work. It needs a new music identity if it also is trying to have a new general identity to be more creepy. Forsaken should be more horror centered. Anyway, another issue, which I will be covering in a later video, is maps. As a map designer, I know the ways to fix these maps and to make them feel better for both killer and survivor, primarily killer. And I want to fix it. Like, I have been taking down notes of the maps, all of their issues, planning out how to fix them, and I would love to actually act on it and make that video to describe how I would change everything, because the maps are integral to this game, and most of them are not fun to play on. And this obviously is due to a multitude of reasons. A big one is looping. A lot of the times looping, especially in those famous loop spots, will never get fixed, ever. Or the map is just way too open and you can't do anything with it. That's a reason why a trapper character just probably won't work in this game, is because some maps are just too open to actually play that type of playstyle. Planet Boss looking right at you. I'll let this segue into it. I want to say this now. I have no intention of quitting making Forsaken content. I didn't intend for this to become a Forsaken channel. It kind of has been now, because I have like 3 other videos planned about the game. But I am just going to say now, I don't plan on stopping content. And my content is not planned to be like, oh my goodness, look at this. I just plan on giving constructive criticism to Forsaken and how they can improve their game. I do it because I care for the game. I really enjoy this game. I want to see it be better. This is especially true for the map stuff. Like, I genuinely want to be on the Forsaken team just so I can go through and fix every single map in the game because they all have something wrong with them. A lot of it is due to looping. Obviously, some maps are just open, like way too open, and for that, it's kind of more so a thing of, yeah, this kind of has to get completely changed, like the whole map needs to get remodeled. Again, looking at Planet Voss. But that's pretty much everything I have to say in this video. I'm just kind of disappointed with the whole situation, the whole management about it. I really hope that they offer up an ownership position to Unk. I do think he's the only one fit to actually run the game. And I think he's the only one who actually has a vision for the game's future identity and what it wants to be.